Super Mario World didn't just introduce Yoshi and that iconic floating cape. It took everything that made Mario magical and polished it until it shone like a freshly collected Starman. Critics and fans still call it one of the greatest platformers ever made. But how did it come together? And why does it still feel so perfect decades later? Let's find out. By the late 1980s, the Nintendo Entertainment System, or Famicom back in Japan, had conquered the world. Super Mario Bros. 3 was an absolute monster, selling over 17 million copies and basically printing money for Nintendo. Mario was everywhere. Cartoons, cereal, even a terrible live-action movie that we shall never speak of again. But nothing lasts forever. The 8-bit hardware was starting to show its age, and competitors smelled blood in the water. NEC's PC Engine, TurboGrafx-16 over here, was already pushing better graphics in Japan. Worse yet, Sega was gearing up to drop the Genesis with its flashy blast processing marketing and Sonic the Hedgehog waiting in the wings. Nintendo knew they had to evolve. In 1988, they quietly began work on the Super Famicom. Internally, the team was already experimenting with ideas for a new Mario game. But they faced a classic problem. How do you top the game that basically defined the genre? Easier said than done when your last entry had an entire world map, tanuki suits, and enough secrets to keep kids busy for months. Development officially kicked off around 1989 under the watchful eyes of Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka. The team had grown significantly since the NES days, now including fresh talent that would go on to become legends in their own right. The Super Famicom's hardware was a big leap. 16-bit graphics, more colors, better sound, and that famous Mode 7 for pseudo-3D effects. But learning the new tech wasn't smooth. Early prototypes looked interesting. Some levels were basically fancy tech demos, and the team experimented with all sorts of wild ideas before settling on what felt right. The biggest innovation? The overworld map. Instead of linear stages, you now had a connected world where you could backtrack, find hidden paths, and choose your route. It made the game feel alive and explorable in a way previous Marios never quite managed. Then came Yoshi. Originally conceived as a mount for Mario, the little green dinosaur quickly stole the show. Riding him added a whole new layer of gameplay. Swallowing enemies, spitting eggs, that joyful little sound when he hatches. Koji Kondo's soundtrack also leveled up, blending familiar Mario themes with richer, more emotional melodies that still give people chills today. Power-ups got smarter too. The Cape Feather let you glide and even fly with perfect timing, turning levels into aerial playgrounds. And don't get me started on the Hidden Star Road or those secret exits. The game basically rewarded curiosity like never before. Of course, with all this new freedom came the inevitable. Levels that were just hard enough to make you rage quit. Then immediately restart because you were having too much fun. As development rolled on, rumors started swirling. Delays happened. The Japanese launch of the Super Famicom in November 1990 was massive. Lines around the block, scalpers having a field day. Super Mario World was a killer, selling over 1 million copies in Japan in the first few weeks. When it came time for North America, Nintendo played it smart. They renamed the console the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, because Americans love long names apparently, and bundled the game with the system. The marketing was intense. Now you're playing with power. Superpower. But Sega wasn't backing down. The console wars were heating up, and both companies were slinging numbers like prize fighters. Sega claimed they sold every Genesis they could make. Nintendo insisted their numbers were better. Prices dropped. Ads got meaner. It was glorious chaos. Through it all, Super Mario World stood tall. It wasn't trying to blow you away with raw specs. It was focused on tight controls, clever level design, and that pure Nintendo polish. And that's the secret, really. Super Mario World wasn't a complete reinvention. It took the DNA of Super Mario Bros. 1 through 3 and refined every single part. Better jumping physics, smarter enemies, more secrets, more joy. It sold over 20 million copies across its lifetime, including re-releases on Wii, 3DS, Switch, etc. It influenced every 2D platformer that came after it. Speedrunners still obsess over it. Even today, when you boot it up, whether on original hardware or through Nintendo Switch Online, it feels timeless. The controls are buttery smooth, the secrets still surprise you, and Yoshi still makes you smile like an idiot when he flutters down with those little wings. So there you have it. The story of how Nintendo didn't just make another Mario game. They perfected the formula, launched a new console on the back of it, and gave us one of the greatest video games ever created. If you haven't played Super Mario World in a while, do yourself a favor and fix that immediately. And if you have any favorite moments, secrets, or memories from the game, drop them in the comments below. We read every single one. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.